Not the whole mile, not the whole project, just the first inch. That's all the session asks of you right now. Take it. The rest follows. The whole thing looks impossible from where you're standing now. The mountain of the project, but the session doesn't allow that view to matter. Only the first inch in front of you. The first inch is achievable. The first inch always knew. It didn't need the summit's permission to begin. The first inch is the only inch that gets you into the second one and the third. The first inch starts the chain that the impossible mountain never charts. Not the mountain, the inch, not the whole, the start. The first inch is achievable, that's where you take the part. The first inch, that's all today. The first inch clears the way for the second and the third. The first inch, every word of progress starts this small. The first inch through it all. The mountain moves 1 inch at once. The first inch, there's no other route. Looking at the whole instead of the first inch right in front. The overwhelm is fed by scope, not difficulty. The first inch is never hard. It's the 1,000 inches viewed together that discard your confidence before you moved. The session asks for one, not all of them. The first inch, and then it's done. For now the next inch waits for the next time you sit. The first inch is the entire secret to all of it. Not the mountain, the inch, not the whole, the start. The first inch is achievable, that's where you take the part. The first inch, that's all today. The first inch clears the way for the second and the third. The first inch, every word of progress starts the small. The first inch through it all. The mountain moves 1 inch at once. The first inch, there's no other route. You weren't avoiding the work, you were avoiding the mountain. Those are different things. The mountain was never the task. The first inch was. It always was. Stop looking up at the whole climb. Look down at your feet. 1 inch, that's the only question the session is asking. Answer it. The mountain will still be there after the first inch is taken, but so will you. A little further along than you were. Come back to the first inch when the project feels too vast. Forget the mountain, forget the future and the past. Just the first inch, today's first inch. Nothing soft, breath is deep. Calm the mind, let it keep. Small repeat, small repeat. Steady hands, steady beat. Stay calm, stay here. Gentle focus loop. Gentle focus loop. Do not rush. Do not rush. Same repeat, same tone. Quiet work on your own. Stay calm, stay here. Gentle focus loop. Gentle focus loop. Do not rush. Do not rush. Calm cycles. Calm cycles. Only now, only this. Nothing more, nothing missed. Let it loop. Let it loop. Not the polished version, not the one for show. The honest draft, rough, true, exactly what the thinking actually looks like before it's dressed up. Write that one first. The honest draft doesn't perform, it just says what it thinks. Unedited, unfiltered, before the polish shrinks the actual shape of the idea into something safe. The honest draft is messy, the honest draft won't chafe against its own rough edges, it lets them stand exposed. The honest draft is where the real thinking is disclosed, before the careful version comes to smooth it for the eyes. The honest draft is closer to the truth in the disguise. Rough but real, messy but true. The honest draft comes first, before the polish comes through. make sense exist on the page anyway. The honest draft trusts that the editing can come later. Today is for the truth, however clumsy. The honest draft knows the polish can only refine what the honest draft shows. It can't create the substance from nothing. The honest first draft is where the real material gets its birth. Rough but real, messy but true. The honest draft comes first before the polish comes through. The honest draft, say it plain. The honest draft don't restrain the actual thought before it's dressed. The honest draft at its best, when it's roughest, when it's raw. The honest draft break the law of polish for a moment, right? The honest draft into the light. You kept polishing sentences that didn't have real thoughts behind them yet. The polish was hiding the fact that the thinking wasn't done. The honest draft skips that. It says the unfinished thought exactly as unfinished as it is. That's not weakness. That's the only way to find out what you actually think. Write the honest draft, polish later, or don't. The honest draft might be more true than the polished one never would have been. Come back to the honest draft when the polish feels like hiding. Let the rough thoughts stand. The honest draft is the deciding factor between performance and the actual thinking shown. The honest draft is yours alone before it's ever known by anyone but you. The honest draft is brave in its refusal to pretend. The honest draft will save you from the trap of seeming smart before you're clear. The honest draft, the session always starts right here. The honest draft, say it plain, say it plain. The honest draft don't restrain the actual thought before it's dressed. The honest draft at its best, when it's roughest, when it's raw. The honest draft break the law of polish for a moment, right? The honest draft into the light. Rough, honest, true. The draft doesn't need to be pretty yet. It needs to be real. Write that first. Everything else can come later. Honest draft, always first. Forget the whole thing. Forget the scope of it. Just the next line. That's all that exists right now. The project felt impossible at every angle but one. The angle that forgets the end and only does what's done. One word, one line, one function. Not the architecture entire. Just the next thing asking to be built before you tire. The mind that holds too much at once collapses under weight. But the mind that holds one moment, that's the mind that operates. been afraid of the blank, but the blank isn't empty, it's waiting. It already knows what comes next. You just have to write the line that lets it show you. One line, right now, this one. Pages happen line by line and sessions happen breath by breath. The code that ships was written once, not all at once, just depth by depth and step by patience. Step until the structure holds and the next line becomes the last line, and the project unfolds, not because you forced it, but because you stayed and let it run. One line after one line after one line, and it's done. Only the next line, just this one. Only what's in front, right here. Don't look at the distance, just move through the hunt. One line completes another. The work builds from within. Only the next line. Keep going. Begin. Line by line, still going. The work doesn't wait for readiness. It just asks for the next line. Give it that, just that, one more. Air is still, mind is light, soft focus, set it right. One small step, then the next. Keep it plain, no complex, no noise, no haste. Calm sequence. Calm sequence. Easy pace. Easy pace. Same small step, same small move. Steady hands, steady groove. No noise, no haste. Calm sequence. Calm sequence. Easy pace. Easy pace. Clear the view, clear the lane. Simple path, simple brain. Loop the calm, loop the calm. When the music stops, when the session ends, when the playlist closes, something stays. Not the notes, not the timestamps. What remains is what actually mattered. Look at it. Carry it forward. The session passes and most of it dissolves away, forgotten by the evening of the very same day. But something always remains, not everything, just what was real enough to leave a mark. What remains is not the hours counted or the playlist that you played. It's the shift in how you think, the quiet trade you made with time. What remains is never loud. It's the residue of presence, humble, unannounced, unproud. Not the hours, what they built, not the playlist, what it gave. What remains is always quieter than what the session seemed to crave. What remains after it all? What remains after the call of the music fades to silence? What remains past compliance with the clock, past the count? What remains is the amount of real change the practice made. What remains never fades. You won't remember every session in specific detail. What remains is the cumulative betrayal of small adjustments that became the way you are. What remains isn't close, it's not far. It's simply who you've become through all of this. What remains is the quiet, accumulated bliss of every hour given freely to the work. What remains, the only thing that doesn't shirk. Not the hours, what they built, not the playlist, what it gave. What remains is always quieter than what the session seemed to crave. What remains after it all? What remains after the call of the music fades to silence? What remains past compliance with the clock, past the count? What remains is the amount of real change the practice made. What remains never fades. This is the last track of this playlist. You'll forget the specific sessions. You'll forget which track was playing during which breakthrough. That's fine. What remains isn't the memory, it's the change, the version of you that shows up differently now, that stays longer, that trusts the process. That's what remains. It was never about remembering the music. It was about becoming this. Come back for the next playlist, knowing what remains is yours. Not the songs you'll forget, but what the practice restores and builds and carries forward through every single one. What remains is what the sessions actually have done to the way you think and work and return and stay. What remains, the quiet gift, what remains today and every day before it, accumulating true. What remains is the version of the practice that's you. What remains after it all, it stays. What remains after the call of the music fades to silence? What remains past compliance, past with the clock, past the count. Ooh, what remains is the amount of real change the practice made. What remains never fades, never remaining quiet, true. The playlist ends here. What it built in you doesn't carry it forward into the next session, the next playlist, the next version of yourself. What remains is enough. It always was.